Joining me now is the man behind it all, Century Aluminum CEO Jesse Gary. Jesse, great to see you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, Maria. Glad to be back.
So tell me how significant this restart of this smelter is.
Well, it's huge. You know, finally, under President Trump's leadership, we're seeing an increase in U.S. aluminum production after decades of losing production. This restart is a direct result of his tariff program, and we're really happy to deliver it for the country and for our workers.
Well, that's incredible. And the restart will boost U.S. domestic aluminum production by almost 10%, bring the facility from its current 75% capacity to full production by June of 2026. Tell me about the backdrop here, as before these tariffs went into place, you were dealing with aluminum being dumped in the United States at cheaper levels.
That's right, Maria. In fact, after President Trump's first term, Canada is granted an exemption under the Biden administration, and we saw Canada increase imports into the U.S. by over 30%. This had a direct impact on U.S. production, with 2 U.S. smelters shutting over this time period. Now that President Trump is back in office, we've been able to make this investment. We've also been able to announce we're going to build the first new aluminum smelter to be built in the U.S. in 50 years, which will add another 1,000 jobs, over 6,000 jobs during construction. So for the first time in a long time, we're seeing manufacturing come back to this country, manufacturing jobs come back to this country, and investment come back to this country as a direct result of this president's programs.
Now, the company reported mixed second quarter earnings. Jesse, beating revenue estimates by nearly $20 million, but missing earnings per share. I want to get your take on expenses right now. Part of the second quarter slight miss was higher power and SG&A costs. Tell me about that.
Yeah, really, the miss was mostly driven by some FX charges, Maria, and really we were pretty much right in line. And then we're really excited about our third quarter, where we're going to see adjusted EBITDA increase to about $115 to $125 million. And we expect further increases into Q4. So we're really actually seeing orders picking up, especially here domestically, where we've seen our value-added production and our value-added sales increase by 8% year over year. So we think the U.S. is actually a real stronghold for us. We're excited to be producing here, and it should drive further earnings growth.
So what are you seeing in terms of the demand part of the story here, in terms of companies spending more on aluminum, and what your business outlook is for 26?
Yeah, we're seeing strong growth both in building and construction, especially in the HVAC verticals, as well as pretty strong automotive demand. And we expect that to continue. You know, Maria, we had a bunch of Mount Holly workers that were there at the President's Liberation Day speech, and there he promised to bring back U.S. manufacturing, and he's really delivering for them. And we're excited that our demand domestically is also being picked up by this. So it really all goes together in one big package.
Do you think your operations benefit from the tariffs more in the fourth quarter than in the third quarter? Do things actually even get better from here as these tariffs take effect?
Absolutely they do, Maria. So because of some contractual lags, and because it takes a while for some of these programs to really run their way through the economy, we're anticipating we'll continue to see increasing demand for U.S. produced aluminum, and that's what's driving that value-added product number, that 8% year-over-year impact. So we think that can continue into the third quarter and even more into the fourth quarter, and then into 2026 as well.
How does that compare to European operations?
Europe is a bit weaker, Maria. There's really hasn't been a direct catalyst like what we've seen in the U.S. So while we have started to see things pick up a little bit in Northern Europe coming into the third quarter, it's been a relatively weak economy there. So we're more bullish on the U.S. We're hopeful that Europe starts to come around as we enter into 2026.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing a lot of, more bullish on the U.S. than anywhere else right now. Jesse, what do you want to say about pricing and what all of this means for pricing of aluminum right now?
Well, aluminum is really priced globally, Maria, so it's global supply and demand. As the Chinese production has reduced, and really there hasn't been any new production coming on globally, at least on the significant levels that we saw in the previous decade, there is a lot of demand for new production to come on, and so we'd rather that come on here in the U.S. than somewhere else, and we're ready to bring it. So we think that will be supportive of aluminum prices over the next couple of years, which should be good for our projects and good for our workers here in America.
We talked about the Mount Holly restart in the first quarter of 26. What about Hawesville? And what do you want to say about that? And I know you've done a strategic review there, Jesse.
Yeah, that's right. So we expect to finish that strategic review by the end of Q3, and we'll come out with next steps for Hawesville. At the same time, we continue to advance our new smelter project. We're looking at sites today and finalizing some power negotiations. So we expect to also have announcements on that new smelter project. And what's important to realize, Maria, is that would be, because it will be the first new smelter built in 50 years, you're going to see a much more efficient, it will be really one of the most advanced aluminum smelters in the entire world once built, which really will set the pace for the next 50 years of aluminum production here in America.
All right, we're watching you invest in America. We love it. Jesse, good to see you this morning. Thanks very much.
Thanks so much, Maria.